Really close that door. Hello, hello, hello. Right, this is Thomas from Fast Track FBA, and we are here today to help you out with your Amazon business. I'm just going to move my bag because obviously I'm well prepared for this. But if you have any questions, do ask me. This session today, oh my God, that's got a lot of equipment in it, is about helping you guys in your business and answering your questions. Obviously, I can sit here all day long and talk about my business, but I release a lot of YouTube videos. So the whole point is really to help you. So if you're just starting on Amazon, USA, UK, VAs, preferably online arbitrage, I can give you some advice on some other, but I don't think I'm really positioned well to do it. Then obviously I'm here to help. So do like kind of share, ask, do what ask those questions that you've got, and obviously I'll do them. So give me 2 seconds. We're just going to check that we're going live. So I'm going to check now that I'm actually live. 2 seconds. And if you are here, just drop a hi in. That would be the best thing. So I'm just going to quickly check now. Fast Track FBA. Fast Track FBA, fantastic. I think I'm live. Yeah, we're live. Well, hey, cool, that's good. And if you are here, do let me know. And I'll just check in the group as well. So got a couple of questions. Hey, hi all, hey. There was actually an interesting question which was asked. I'm just gonna have a quick look now. Hey, fantastic. Hi Tom, cool. And Harminder, hi, fantastic. If you guys got questions, honestly, let me know. There's a lot going on. Oh God, there's a lot going on. It's like the come down. So if I kind of give you an idea, we're down on the last 30 days revenue wise, UK. You would expect that. It's very, very normal. 42% down versus last month. So we kind of look at the old revenue graph, 42% down, but up last year. But January is still a really good month, so don't worry. Like if you're down, that's fine. So like you can probably notice from like my lines, they're pretty consistent. So it's kind of like a little bit up and down. It's not like whoa. It is up and down. But if you've got questions, do let me know. But I'm just gonna have a quick look because someone did ask a really, really good question. They kind of like put it on the end of the last live I did, and I just want to check what they asked. I think it was a really good question. If I can kind of copy it, then I will do. Can I see the comments? 2 seconds. Here we go. Oh my God. There's a lot of questions here. So I'm going to kind of copy. If anyone's guys, if you've got questions, do drop them down below. Live, yeah. If you guys are here, drop your questions down below. Obviously, I will answer them, but I'm just going to kind of just do a couple of things here. So this was a question which was asked after we finished the last one. So I'm just going to kind of say, hi Tom. So this is how do you deal with sellers who have 3 or 4 FBA offers? Isn't it against Amazon's terms of service? Short answer is no, and it doesn't affect your buy box. You can do it, and I posted in my group somewhere that we asked Amazon, and they said you can do it. It's absolutely like there's not against terms of service. A good example might be that you have, if you say an FBA product where it's got a different like shelf life. So one might be like dated to end in January and the other one might be dated to end in February. So you'd have 2 SKUs, one with the best before date in January, one with February. That's very normal. That's a good example, and obviously why it does happen. They don't get any more of the buy box. Also, intensive credit cards, aren't we going into a grey area when we use credit cards in our names to make purchases? Purchases for business. They kind of said, short answer is ideally, you don't want to be using personal purchases, personal credit cards for business purposes when it's under a limited company. You can, it's not the end of the world, but ideally you probably want to. There is something called like the corporate veil. So like the odd purchase you'll be fine, but you probably don't want to make a habit of it. Obviously, if you're a sole trader, then you are going to be buying it in your personal name because you're a sole trader. So that's the answer there. But guys, you've got some questions coming in live now. So let me kind of answer these. So Virgil, is tactical arbitrage really helpful for product sourcing? Short answer is yes, it's really helpful for product sourcing. It's sourcing software if anyone doesn't know. Long answer is yes, you are going to find deals, but the very nature of software sourcing is that it finds deals which it shares to all its users. So let's say, for example, now if tactical arbitrage had 10,000 users and they all got that one deal, well, if you had 10,000 people on one listing, it's not going to be a very good product to buy and sell. So just be mindful of that. That does have an impact. That's going to be something really to consider. So if you found it on tactical arbitrage, it's very likely that a lot of other people have found it as well. That's my thoughts. Hence why we don't use software. Next question. Hey, mate, purchased a VA from yourself yesterday. How long roughly will it take to be able to start working with us? There's a delay at the moment. We've had a really great question. Thank you for hiring. We've had a really long delay. So if you're going to ask me, it'll be over a month because it takes 2 weeks for them to train. It's actually like 7 days. It's 2 weeks effectively. So if you ask me, I'd probably say about 6 weeks possibly. Now, the one thing which I'll say is if you are like, oh my God, that's too long, I'm not happy with that, just let us know. We honestly, we'll give a refund full, no questions asked. So if there's any problems, like you're not happy with it, or maybe later down the line, like in 2 weeks time, like, actually, no, I don't want to wait. I want to do it myself. That's fine. Let us know. So we appreciate right now with the January promotion, it has gone a bit busy. But the one thing which I will say about all the VAs that we hire, we're not about churning the volume out. It has to be quality first. Why? Because this VA is going to be in your business for the next 6 months or maybe like next like 6 years, hopefully. Quality first. So if it means we've got to wait a week or two longer than expected, then we will do that. And obviously we will say to you that we're sorry it's taking longer. If you want a refund, you can have it. So I hope that makes sense, Jordan. And sorry it's a delay, just really busy. Everyone hires in January. But also as well, it's quality first. It has to be. We won't skimp on that. Let's kind of go through. Pete Newman. Hi, Tom. Do you find any particular days of the week are better for finding deals? I worked in online retail for a while. We always had sales on Monday and Tuesday. Great question. I can't give you an exact answer, but I think the one thing which I will say is when I used to be into like scraping websites, top tip for you is it depends on the supplier itself. So like, let's say for example, Argos might have in their general plan, Monday and Thursday are the days they reduce down the prices. And then also as well, on those days, they will do it at like 4 o'clock in the morning, for example. So each store will have its own internal day whereby number one, it will update its clearance section. And also that will happen at a certain time, throughout the, like if you think about in a typical operational day, they'll internally within Argos, they'll be like, okay, let's these products are all scheduled for markdown, cool. And then at like 6 o'clock the next day, they'll go live on the website. So they'll push that through. And I think the one thing which I did is I used to just like scrape the websites, kind of like get an idea when prices would change, and then the days. And once I figured out the day, then I would run the scraper every hour onto a certain section, and I'd try and figure out what times of days it would change. So you can do that, but the short answer is no, because each person's a bit different. But you can do it definitely, and it could be a little bit of an advantage. You're going to get in there sooner. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Dan Smith. Can FBA used books sell adversely affect account health and unit count allowance, since the books often can sit in fulfillment centers? Very interesting. So account health, now I'm not a bookseller, but my understanding from a friend of mine, Seth Baker, who I've interviewed, he did $1 million last year in sales in the US. He said, generally speaking, you don't really get IP complaints from books. Like it's really like hard. So in regards to account health, no, I don't think you'll have a problem. And obviously I'm assuming you're not selling any books new, so you shouldn't get like the new sold as used sold as new complaint either. But in regards to count allowance, that is definitely one of the big problems they face with booksellers, i.e. the books are sitting there for a very long period of time, and as a net result, they're just like they're not doing anything. So for you, the real question I would think about is, yes, it will affect that, but you've got to balance that. So I had the same conversation with Seth Baker whereby I was like, why don't you just increase the what, put like, instead of putting like 3 books into Amazon, just put 1 in. And he was like, Tom, like 97% of my inventory is just one product. 97% of my ASINs are one stock items. I was like, whoa. So short answer is, yeah, it will affect your account allowance. I did think about doing it with arbitrage. So like 50% of my stock being books, 50% of my stock being fast turning arbitrage. And then together they might kind of balance out. You can do that. In the UK, we have like an allowance of like 130,000 units. So it could work, but you just got to be able to do the volume. That's it. So I hope that makes sense. And Dan, I hope that answers your question. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for the questions, guys. Thanks for starting. Ooh, something's going on outside my apartment. Not sure what. Starting Amazon now in the UK, how much would you need to invest to make around 5 profit each month, not including staff costs? If it was me, I would include staff costs, because when you start saying like not including staff costs, not including prep centers, it starts getting really confusing. I can generally do it off like what's known as a net profit figure. I think that people talk about if you're getting 5K a month is a decent amount of profit. You're walking about 60K net per year. So the general rule of thumb is if you can make 10K net margin after all costs, or 10% net margin, sorry, you're generally doing well. So if we make the assumption that 10% is doing well, then you can kind of work from there. So if you look at the model of 5K profit at 10% margin, you're going to do 50,000 in revenue. Now, to do 50,000 in revenue, you're going to need to spend 25,000 and then buy something for £10, sell it for £20. So the idea is spend 25,000 to make 50,000 in revenue, which at 10% net margin makes you 5% K net profit. But the idea is you can't just buy it today and you get the money back in your bank in a month. At minimum, I reckon it takes 2 months. So that's 2 lots of 25. So that's 50 grand. But if you want to do more, then I reckon 3, so 75. So if you guess me 75K, I think would probably be a good amount if you're making 5K net profit per month. And that might be the case that you can do it less than 3 months, i.e. the time to cycle the money, but your margin might not be 10%. So I hope that makes sense. I'm really sorry about the background noise. I'm really sorry. I have no, I would go talk to them, but they're speaking Spanish and I have no idea how to talk Spanish. Shh. So let's carry on. Check your DM request. Sent you one a few weeks back. Promise it's not wasting your time. Okay, cool. Not sure. Fine. I hope it's not Instagram asking me if I want some 10,000 followers. I get them all the time, but thank you very much. Next one. Okay, howdy. I find it very difficult to find UK distributors in the UK. Many do not have price lists. Some only have a website. Most of the time, prices the same as Amazon. Where am I wrong? Yeah, great question. I don't really do wholesale, but I give you my thoughts on it, and I've done a bit wholesale, and we're starting it again. So, long story short, number one, they might have price lists, they might not. That's you've got to figure that out. Top tip, if they don't have a price list and they have a little website, like an online portal, which is quite simple, they can do that. You might just want to hire a guy from Fiverr to go scrape it and turn it into a price list. That's fine. The other one, some only have a website. That's fine. Generally, you've got to think these guys are distributors. They're not really. What is a website? What does it do? It's an advertising platform, and by having a website is all you're going to be doing is advertising for new customers, and distributors don't really care. Wholesalers don't care. They're if we get 3 new customers a month, we're happy, and it's not they don't really need a good website for that. So generally speaking, the worse the website, the better. This is a good thing, and most of the time the price is the same as Amazon. Agreed. Ironically, because it's it's not super easy. First of all, the list price you're going to get from your distributors is going to probably not be hugely competitive. But then second of all, because that's the price that they're trying to offer you initially, the whole point in wholesale distribution is building a relationship, getting discounts, doing volume transactions, getting special offers that they have available. Also as well, you've got to think the wholesalers and distributors, they don't have as much buying power as Amazon themselves. And not only that, when you talk about online arbitrage, everyone, or forget online arbitrage for a second, when people think about doing wholesale, they're oh, I'm going to get cheap prices because I'm buying from wholesalers, they're going to do it. And you're well, actually, the wholesaler and the distributor, they are going to buy in bulk to a certain extent, agree, of course, and they're going to pass on some of that saving to you. But your online arbitrage guy is buying from the likes of Walmart and Tesco. And these are some massive companies, and they are buying in such bulk that they are getting massive discounts, probably more than the distributor. And also as well, the retailers are happy to sell that one product maybe at nearly break even, if not a loss, because it's a loss leader. They want to kind of attract people, advertise it. So that's where online arbitrage people can make their money, because they're taking advantage, they're buying off massive retailers. So that's the point. So I think for you, when you're looking at comparing prices on Amazon, yeah, you're right. A lot of the time, you're just not going to find as many profitable products. I think the real concept is find something nearly profitable. Maybe it doesn't meet the margin you want, but it's near it, and then start negotiating. Ask those questions. So I think that makes sense. So hope that does that answer your question? Let me know down below in the comments. A couple of bits of feedback. I need some coffee. Right, Dan Smith says, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for asking. Really good of you. I remember when I first started doing these, it was me on my own for half an hour. So thank you for joining. Facebook user, thanks for answer. Cool. 1 second, Facebook user. Let me just have a quick look. Because Facebook user, Obviously, I don't know who it is. They did say, please check your DMs. And I'm just going to quickly check now, because then obviously if I check now, then I'm good. Message requests. It might have been a while ago. I've got quite a few from a while ago. I will have a look. Honestly, I will have a look. But yeah, it might just be worth sending me another message. If this person, please check your users. So just drop me another message. So obviously I know it's at the top. So here we go. So right. Hi Tom, can I ask how you or your workers check the products manually? Why do you not use tools? Is there any reason for not using these programs? Well, obviously, how? My God, go on to Fast Track YouTube, look at our sourcing playlist. That's how we do it. That's quite simple. It's a very manual process. But I think also the other question is like, why do we not use software? Well, the same as the guy who spoke earlier about using like tactical arbitrage, is the software is, it's great, it's going to help you out, but just at a very fundamental level, if I had a really amazing deal right now, let's say for example, it's like 100% ROI, $10 profit, and it's selling like 50 units a month. You're like, way, and there's like 2 other sellers on the listing. You're like, Tom, thank you so much, you're the best. But what if you'd love me, but what if I told you that actually I'd now just sent that to 50,000 Amazon sellers, that one product, that lead, that information, you'd now be a bit like, oh, Tom, but like this is only selling 50 units a month. Like if even 100 of them buy 10 of them, we're going to crash that listing. Well, you'd be like, why did you do it? And you're like, because while a deal is a great deal on paper, also an element of making a great deal is the scarcity factor, the fact that it's exclusive, less people have it, less competition. And by using software, what the software does, because it shares, it can potentially create more competition. I'm not saying it does, but it can. And don't get me wrong, I've tested it a few times and we've seen kind of a higher increase, but it's not been as high as maybe like I'm making it out. But I think for you is use the tools, test them, find out what works for you. In our USS, we really check. We have the ability to track like where a deal comes from, and we can start tracking the profit and competition versus that. So that's why we don't use tools. We do it manually because we want to try and find deals that the software doesn't. Does that make sense? Next one. Right. Thank you. Cool. I'm glad that helps. Right, Levi, question. I find profitable arbitrage products with low competition, and then 10 other people find the same thing. Jump on the listing, the price drops by about 30% by the next day. Help me. Welcome to the market-based economy. I hate to say it, but it is true. It's true. You are right. And let me ask you, let me put it another way. Levi finds profitable arbitrage products with low competition, and Levi does that. But what if I'm going to say Tom finds profitable arbitrage products with low competition, and then all of a sudden other people such as Levi jump on my listing and tank my thing by about 30%? Unfortunately, this is one of the problems with what we do, or should we say selling on Amazon, especially from like an arbitrage, wholesale, retail arbitrage perspective. It's a market economy, and unfortunately, generally in markets, everything else being the same, price is a denominating factor, and the net result is that if you can find it online, i.e. online arbitrage, then other people have the ability to crash it, and with automation like software, win the buy box, that's going to have a problem. So I do get your point, but I think, look, at a very fundamental level, if I kind of give you a kind of thought process, on an individual product, you are right, but this is not about individual products. This is about, say, for example, you were to buy 10 products in a day. Well, you'd expect that of the 10 products, one of those products would do really, really well. You're like, oh my God, I've just made 100% ROI. Post that on social media, fantastic. Then you probably find that, like, I don't know, 5 products would just do as expected. Like, well, hey, cool, got my 30% ROI, happy. Then you probably find like the math isn't going to work out, but like 2 products don't do very well. They don't make you money, but you have to break even. You have to clear down on them. So like, hey, we didn't lose anything, but we didn't make anything. And then like 1 product, you're going to lose money. And this is going to be maybe that one, that 30%. Like, damn, now I'm losing like 20% ROI on this. This is really annoying. And unfortunately, that but if you looked at the the 1 product you lost money, or even the ones that you break even on, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? It's pointless. But you don't ever look at it that way. You look at all the deals as a whole, and you say cumulatively across all of it, we are actually making money. And that's the point. What you accept is that sometimes you do really well, sometimes you do as expected, sometimes you don't do very well, and sometimes it does really bad. But cumulatively, the overall portfolio is moving up, and that is what you're doing. So don't worry too much. It's just the idea is trying to find a portfolio of products which cumulatively move up, and learning from the bad ones to try and improve the portfolio. I hope that makes sense. But that's the way we view it. And at the end of the day, what we're looking at is the overall profit and ROI across the whole portfolio every week, rather than one individual product. Yes, we look at the individual products and learn from them. What can we learn? But we don't look at one individual product. And it's not like, hey, I made $1 million on 99 products, but I lost £5 on one product. That's it. I'm going to quit Amazon now. I've just lost a fiver. You didn't. You just made 9,995. That's it. So I hope that makes sense. So someone's called Raw Red. Cool. Nice. Not a clue. Thank you. Someone says true, Levi. Fantastic. Someone says handsome. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're not talking about me, but it's okay. Levi says great answer. Cool. Thank you, Levi. Glad it helped. Guys, if you've got questions, drop it down below. If you're going to see if someone's called me handsome on the group. Has anyone called me handsome? That's quite funny. So if you guys have got questions, do let me know. Obviously, I'm here to answer your questions. That's the important point. So who have we got here? Oh, Daniel Gilmore's calling me handsome. Thank you, Daniel. Right, and Tyler said he sent me a thing, so I will check that as well. So I think that makes sense. If you've got questions, do let me know down below. So I'm answering them, but it will just be me talking about myself. What's going on in my business at the moment? I just had an ops meeting. So 1 second, coffee. Oh, I miss coffee. So Amit said, thank you for the answer, Tom. Cool, glad I could help. So where are we at the business? UK business is fine. Running, I think we'll do like 240, I think, for the month. Happy that we are 44% down on last month, but it's just fine. We're training up. We've got a purchasing manager. We had a purchasing manager and a purchasing assistant last month. Purchasing assistant is going to move over to do wholesale. I'll come back to that in a minute. And then also as well, we've got two sourcing assistants. They're now moving up to purchasing assistants, which is great. And then also we've hired some VA. We had VAs in December. We hired, and the net result is now we're in. They're just getting the team back up. What I am expecting is a decline in revenue and a decline in profitability. Why? Because when you have a change to the team, it does make an impact. But I don't really mind if we lose it for if we're not doing so well for 1 or 2 months. But next Q4, instead of doing 400,000, we do like 1 million in a month. That'll be next level. I'm not saying we're not planning to, but that'll be a good thing. So that's fine. And then I think the other one is then we're starting the wholesale business. So prep center is going to be confirmed. We've got the model sorted. We're going to place our first test order this week. And just can start learning that process. And we're really trying to define how can you do wholesale with VAs? Because if you know anything about me, I'm just really lazy, and I'm just I'm a very good kind of operator, but I'm not so good at day-to-day consistently doing it. So we want to build it for VAs and also talk about that in documents. So we're going to hopefully place our first test order this week or next week. That's fine. I've already put the money into the account for my ops manager to make the bank transfer when needed. And that's fine. And then USA, we're still just dealing with warehouse issues right now. Just a pain. It's an absolute pain. But we got in contact with them, and they were really badly hit by COVID. So it's a real shame. So can't wait for COVID to be over from the operational perspective, but also as well just get back business as usual. And I want to drive the USA. My God, we've got 1 million we want to hit this year. It's going to be a big goal. So we want to know. But if you want to ask me any more questions about my business or anything to help you with, do drop it in the comments down below. This isn't just about me talking. So let's kind of crack on. Dan Smith, now after holiday, is Amazon intending to raise unit limits? So I'm guessing you're talking about restock limits. No, as far as I'm aware, I think they've posted comments about it, but they haven't said we are going to raise them. I don't think they were keeping them artificially low. They're managing them. But I think, look, top tip for you, Dan, is regardless of what Amazon's doing, my advice would be to just really think about trying to manage your stock better. And what do I mean by that? I'm not saying that you're not managing it good, but think about volume, how quick you can change that or churn that stock. And the reason why I say that is simply for the fact that if you're not moving the stock quick enough, Amazon obviously are going to you're going to hit restock limits. So long story short, what you want to be thinking about is just how can I churn my stock better? Why it's going to churn cash flow better, but also just be very crystal clear. They're called Amazon fulfillment centers, not Amazon storage centers. They are for fulfillment, not storage. So what does that mean? Well, generally speaking, Amazon doesn't really like it if you hold more than about 2 to 3 months. I think about 3 months worth of stock. So just make sure you've got that in there. I'm just having a quick look now. What's mine? Amazon FBA. I'll tell you now. I hadn't seen for a long time. There we go. Inventory, and it's inventory planning. Just check that now. So our IPI score is 607. The one thing you might want to know about is our days in inventory, which is 15. For some reason, it's not actually loading up. Inventory shipping. My God, you can tell how long it's been since I've logged into this. Here we go. So restock limits. Yeah, my God, like we're using 13,486 units of a max inventory level of 133,688. We use less than 10% of our space, which is incredible. So I think keep it under 3 months worth of stock. And what do I mean by 3 months worth of stock? Well, if you go to Seller Central inventory planning, go over to the right-hand side, you'll see what's in days in inventory. Mine is 15, so that means that my stock will last for 15 days before it will sell out. For you, you want to make sure that is below 90. So it's over the 90, you've got to sell some stock through. If it's under 90, it should be okay. So I hope that makes sense. Great question, Dan. Thank you for asking. Hassan, okay, I have 2 Tefal frying pans of different sizes and I wish to list it as a bundle. Do I need to purchase nation code? If the bundle doesn't already exist, yes, you will need to not purchase a nation code. You need to purchase an EAN or GTIN or UPC. Then you need to create a listing. And then obviously when you create the listing, you'll get given an ASIN as part of that. But for each ASIN, you'll have a relevant barcode. You know, the barcode is like that thing there, but it has to be a GTIN, EIN, or UPC first, and then Amazon will give you the ASIN. So long story short, yeah, you do. Also as well, you know, coming on to the next question, which is very relevant as well, do you ever open a new listing for products? Look, no, never. We do like 0 advertising spend as well. Long story short is, I do think there's, okay, let me put it this way. I'm not against opening, and I think it's very good, but personally, I wouldn't do it for online arbitrage. Why? Because in online arbitrage, our biggest problem is supply. We can get products at great prices, we can sell them, but we can't buy enough of them. That's always the problem. So I wouldn't want to create a new listing whereby I couldn't continue to replenish it over the long term. But if you're going to go, because obviously my supply is a problem, but if I'm doing like wholesale distribution, then buying and reselling, buying those products continuously from wholesale distribution onto my own listing over the long term is advantageous. And the reason is when you create a new listing, you've got to get it ranking. So generally, how do you do that? You do what, PPC to get it going. I'm not an expert. I'm just talking off the top of my head here. I don't want to invest the money into the PPC to get a product listing, which after 3 weeks, I can no longer restock. I've just wasted all that money, but I might as well sell it on another listing and not have to pay for the PPC. So long story short, until we get into wholesale, I'm not looking at doing like new listings, not on the OA side. But hey, great question. Let me know if that answers your question down below. James Martin, what is the quickest way of adding products to Amazon in bulk? The bulk listings uploader. I've got 2 videos on it. Honestly, let me just find them. I'll see if I can like share it. 2 seconds. Yeah, the bulk listings uploader is the one you want, and the reason why you want that. So uploader. We do it in the USS. It's built into it. It's the flat file. That's it. I don't know which one's newer. Yeah, you probably want that one. I updated it. Let me just check. I will copy this and put it into the stream so you can kind of see. Check there. Go to that link. That's a video. It's called the flat file. It doesn't cost anything. Basically, what I do is you kind of just have to fill out the form, the file, and then you can upload it to Amazon, and like 2 to 5 minutes later, all those products will be in Amazon on the listings, you know, ready to accept inventory to create a shipment. So we use that. So that's what we do. Yeah. Hope that makes James. Let me know if that answers your question down below. Hassan, what is the secret in winning the buy box? My God, what a question. 1 second. First question you got to ask yourself, if there was a secret, which there isn't, by the way, do you think the person who knows the secret, they would just go onto a YouTube live and be like, hey, everyone, here's the secret to winning the buy box, because I'm going to tell you, because obviously that means that you can now beat me on my secret. So probably not really going to get that things. So the next question I'd ask is, unfortunately, there isn't, and the reason is no one really knows how to win the buy box. And the reason is Amazon doesn't tell us 100% do this and you will get it. And the reason is we know roughly, Amazon does tell us the factors in implementing it, but it doesn't tell us what you need to do exactly. But we've seen through trial and error that we pretty much know what you need to do to win the buy box. And at a fundamental level, let's just call it about FBA on its own. So if you're just doing FBA, you generally need to be FBA. You definitely need to be a professional selling account, FBA, and the lowest price. And if you've got those, you should be fine. There are other factors like back of house metrics, but they kind of take into consideration, but they're not so much. Like if you're a brand new seller versus someone with a lot of experience, you might see a slight change because you haven't got the selling history. But once you've got a bit of sales, generally what I've heard and people I've met who do repricing, they're like, it doesn't really make a big difference. But long story short, professional selling account, 100%, you have to. If you're doing FBA, you want to be an FBA seller. If you want to be in the warehouse, and obviously generally the cheapest price or cheaper than the other FBA. Now, if you're merchant fulfilled, generally speaking, you need to be quite a percentage lower, call it like 15% lower than FBA. Not guaranteed, it's only roughly guessed, don't quote me, play with the listing. And also you have good delivery times. Like if you're 15% lower than an FBA seller, but your shipping time is 1 month, you're not going to win the buy box at all, I promise you that. Also as well, the buy box is a bit of an elusive fish. The reason why I say that is Amazon's not stupid. If the person who's coming to buy the product right now, if they've got Prime membership, well, obviously Amazon's going to show them the Prime price most likely if it's competitive. But if the person coming to buy the product today is not a Prime member and the Prime is like 10% more expensive than the merchant fulfilled, well, because they're not a Prime member, they don't get the Prime shipping for free. They'll have to pay the Prime price plus a little bit more. So now they become a lot more expensive than the merchant fulfilled. So the merchant fulfilled person might win the buy box. So that's why you just got to think about, like, you can't win it all the time. It does depend on the customer shopping. It does depend on other metrics. And also as well, like, shipping times and other factors. So long story short, professional selling account, yes, 100%, we know that. And they state that on Amazon, that you don't have it, you don't get the buy box. So individual don't get it. So professional selling account, generally speaking, do FBA and be the cheapest. That's your answer. So I hope that makes sense. Hassan, let me know if that makes some comments down below. James Martin said, perfect, cheers. James, cool. And that's in regards to quickest way to adding Amazon products in bulk. The bulk listings uploader, there is a video I did, watch that. You're going to love it. Guys, if you've got any questions, do let me know. Today, obviously, there's quite a few people on the call, and obviously I can kind of help out. Don't get me wrong, I can talk about my own business or what I like, but I'd much rather answer your questions and obviously add value to you. So what do we got here? Nathan Hudson, I did 555 units last month and have done 350 so far this month. Wow, nice. Do you think I should be contacting a fulfillment center? What do you think, Nathan? If it's like 350 units of the same item that takes you a day to prep, I'd probably be like, no, you just do it yourself. Generally speaking, there's kind of like 3 things in business you want to be thinking about. And it's you, the way I kind of view business in general, it's you as a person. How much time do you have and how busy are you? If you are too busy, then you need to look at the other 2 and be like, I need to do something with them. But if you're not busy enough, it's generally not the limiting factor. Out of these 3 things, one of them will always be a limiting factor. So it's me, I don't have enough time. The other one, quite simply, is like money. I don't have enough money. I need, I've got time, I've got the other one, but I need more money. That's the other problem. And then the other one is like resources, and that's to invest the money or spend your time on. So that can be like people, deals, for example, you're struggling. So it's like those 3 things I always look at. So like, if you're in the situation now, but like you've got money to spend and you've got deals to spend them on, but you don't have time because you're prepping so much, then yeah, I think that's a really good time to get a fulfillment center. But if you've got time and maybe you haven't got enough money, and then also as well you've got deals, well, your problem isn't I need to outsource now to a fulfillment center, because all you're going to do is spending more money on something that you're going to spend money that you don't have. So then look at getting more money, credit cards, overdrafts, Amazon loans. I'm not saying we should do debt, just word of warning there. But generally, those three things: it's me individually, my time, it's money, and it's resources, which is like the ability to spend that money, invest it to churn the whole process. People, deals, etc. I just need more opportunities to invest. That's it. So I don't know the answer. Only you know it. Maybe share a little bit more about what's going on, and I can obviously let you know. Hassan, thanks, not a problem. And we've got another cool thing, yum.ngo. Not a clue. Right, next one. Harminder, do you concentrate on selling in one particular category, or do you sell across the board? I sell mostly in the grocery category, but recently I think maybe I should delve into other categories. Harminder, you don't know what you don't know. Definitely try it, see what you think. I know Daniel Gilmore was on here earlier. I don't know if he still is, but if there's someone who knows about understanding your market and doing it really well, he definitely did really well. So he posted some very good figures, and obviously has done for a number of years. And I'm not saying you should go into a certain category. I think there is an advantage to being in a certain category at a fundamental level for me, because I just want to grow quick, throw people, throw money at the situation, do it. We go across the whole board. But I think if you are maybe trying to do a bit more strategically, maybe looking to go into like wholesale distribution, that model, there might be a good advantage to stay into one category. Why? Because your category, you know what works. It gives you a USP. It also gives you the ability to find wholesalers, build relationships with them, and you just know the marketplace. You know the best sellers, and you would beat me and my team in that niche, that category, because you have domain knowledge. So there's pros and cons, and I think at the end of the day, the real question you've got to ask yourself is, why would I think the question you're trying to ask is, should I stay in one category or should I go wide? I think if you're good at managing people and money, going wide can be more advantageous because it gives you more options to buy deals straight away. And there's no reason why you can't do that and then go into niche down into different categories for each team. But if it's you and you want to do it and you find enjoyment in certain categories, like I don't know, like hair products, for example, then it might be advantageous for you to stay in that, because that gives you love, passion, and that's what you enjoy doing. And I think at a very fundamental level in our businesses, we should enjoy doing it first, because if we enjoy the process of making money and growing our business, then we'll never work a day in our life. But if you're doing it just because I need to make money, I need more, like, I don't think it's going to be fun. So there is no answer. Do try it. Maybe give it like 2 weeks, go try in different categories, see what you think, and then make a decision. Look at the ROIs, look at the profits, look at the competition, see how well you do. Maybe do it for a month. I think a month's a good time. Hope that, Aminda, let me know down below if that's helpful. James, what is the transition like from sole trader to a limited company on Amazon? I've never done it. I've read about it, but I don't think it's too hard. Some people have reported like accounts suspended for weeks and months, but they seem to be the exception, not the norm. A lot of people have done it. One of the things which I have read is that call Amazon Seller Central up beforehand and let them know that you're going to do the transition. Make sure your documentation is perfect, and I mean perfect. Your name is correct, everything is perfect on it. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go back and forth, and it takes time. So I don't think personally, from what I've read, and the horror stories I've heard, it's not very bad. I don't think you'll have a problem. But I do think we have heard some horror stories, but they're the exception, not the norm. And again, make sure everything's perfect. Maybe contact Amazon before, explain, understand the situation, see what they need, get it all ready, and when you're ready, then make the transition. But I hope that makes sense, James. So Nathan, I've got enough time to do it myself, and sometimes think I could use this time for sourcing instead. Yeah, so Nathan's coming back to the question of like, do you think I should get a fulfillment center? So the question I would ask for you is, do you have a lot of money spare? And if you do, then you might be like, well, actually, let's invest that money into a prep center, and then let's use the time that I'm now freeing up from not having to prep into finding more deals, which I can now spend the remainder of the money on. So yeah, I would agree with you in that sense. Again, I'd ask you about the money side, because it sounds like you haven't got enough deals yet to invest all the money. You're not complaining about money. And also as well, when you talk about I could use this time to source instead, by saying you could source implies you have the money to buy the deals if you found them. So yeah, I would agree. I would agree that possibly that could be a good advantage to you. There's no harm as well also outsourcing certain prep to the prep center. You can do half at home, half in the prep center. That's absolutely fine. Don't feel like you have to do all or nothing. Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking. Jack Hurst, I've been doing online arbitrage. Hearst. Sorry. I've been doing online arbitrage. I've been using clearance sales and latest deals UK to find products. Recently, I've been struggling to find any deals. Any advice? Yeah. There are lots of products out there that exist outside of clearance sales and latest deals UK, like lots of deals. You're like out of the whole online arbitrage marketplace, you're looking like that, the tiny little bit. So go look at all this. There's a big world out there. And yes, there's lots of other sellers doing it, but my God, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's so much out there. Keep looking. There's lots of different things to do. Just start branching out. If you're struggling, cool. Keep find another niche, find another area that's going to work for you. Like voucher code sourcing is quite cool. It looks like you like the discounts. You can do voucher code sourcing. That's probably something you're going to get really good deals on. But again, find what's worked. Check out fasttrackfba.com, Fast Track FBA YouTube channel. Go to our playlists and look at sourcing. There's lots of different sourcing methodologies. Look, what I'm not saying is like, watch that and you're going to make £1 million. No, not in a million years. Like what you got to do is watch that, learn some different sourcing techniques, try and think about what you're doing, and then learn from it, improve it, make it better. All the people today who are doing really good sourcing, I mean like smashing me, making way better ROI margin than I am. I mean like multiples of what I do. They've taken basic concepts of like reverse sourcing, storefront stalking, etc., and just improved upon it, made it better. So do learn that sourcing technique, do branch out and then improve. There's so much you can do. I promise you that. So I hope that answers your question, Jack. Let me know. Harminder, thanks, Tom. We've got a little bit more cash, plus we're hiring a VA, so it might be worth expanding into other categories. 100%. Yeah, do it. You don't know what you don't know. I know the grass is always greener on the other side, but I do think you have the ability to go test how green the grass is on the other side, and then we can always come back. It doesn't matter. But just go see. Like, it's a big world out there. What I love about this business is people go and find loads of cool stuff, like people like making money. Like, wow, there's a guy who I know in the US doing 10 million a year selling trainers. You're like, whoa, that's incredible. And like I didn't think you could do that volume in that, but obviously it's big business. 10 million, that's incredible. So lots of opportunity out there, and you don't know what you don't know. Find your niche and harvest that field. Take the money. Claudia Chase, do you think importing products from the US to sell in the UK store is a viable business? Yes, 100%. Do you know why? Because if you go to like import.gov or something, I don't know, one of the UK things, you can see what's being imported. My God, a lot of people do unique bundling where they do that. They do like just like US products, they bundle them together and sell them into UK and European marketplaces because they understand that people want it. Definitely, again, what's your idea of a viable business? Are you going to be able to turn over billions? You might struggle, but I think you could definitely do millions without a shadow of a doubt. And there probably are people doing millions already doing that. There are probably people doing billions actually, but it's less likely you're going to get that. But definitely there is an opportunity. Do your research. Find those products. If it was me, how would I do that? I would be doing like reverse sourcing. I'd probably find a category, a niche. You might go like sweets, for example, American candy, quite popular, or American like cereals. Just go through the whole UK listings and do reverse sourcing. No Amazon, find out, what's going on, and then go look for distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers in the US, buy it, ship it across, voila. Obviously, you got import fees, so you got to factor that in. But yeah, money to be made, and it could do really well. So good luck. Let me know how you get on, Claudia. Phil Lightyears. Hi, sir. Do you accept applications looking for part-time jobs? But I can work 6 hours Monday to Friday and 10 hours on Saturday. Cool. For us in the VA Academy and also in my own business, no, we only do full-time. And the reason is we need a team who are going to be able to work pretty much the same hours. Otherwise, it becomes really hard to manage them. With like 60 VAs. if they're all working different hours, it just makes logistics, operation very, very challenging. So unfortunately, no, we don't. We don't offer it for our clients either. We don't take part-time VAs. We only do full-time VAs. Just there's reasons, but unfortunately, no. But Phil Lightyears, thank you for your question. Guys, if you've got questions, do drop it down below. I need some more coffee. Do drop it down below. Let me know if you've got questions, and obviously I can answer them. I'm just going to go through. So, like my business, we're kind of doing our updates on. I'll be releasing some videos soon next week. I think about February plans, but January is still a good time. So I think there's lots of opportunities to buy now. One of the things I'm seeing people do, they look for the opportunities in January to resell into June, July. Like camping gear, stuff like that. Like no one wants to go camping in January. It's like horrible, but they're really cheap. But if you can store it, it works really, really well. So do think about that. So if you've got questions, let me know down below. Let's have a quick look here. Harminder says, is everything in your UK Amazon business outsourced? Are there any day-to-day tasks you do? No, like no day-to-day tasks, nothing I have to do at all. I only, like if I have to, if I don't have a meeting with my ops manager is once a week, that's for both UK and US, and that's for an hour a week. And then I have another hour with my admin VA team. There's 4 of them now. I think we've got 1 more as well. Then that's an hour a week. But if I needed to, I don't have to have a meeting with my ops manager. He doesn't need me. And my admin team can just drop me a message of what we need me to do. And I could make that 30 minutes a week. So I could run it, like for a month on 30 minutes a week. So, but I think spending 2 hours a week is fine to run like a £3 million a year business. I think that's absolutely fine. And if I put it in perspective, what I'm not saying is that, look at me, I'm not doing any work. No, I do. I still work insane amount of hours, mainly on Fast Track FBA. But what I do is that I'm a big believer in the operational day-to-day running of the business shouldn't ever need me. Why? Because if it needs me, I'm a liability. Whereas like if my ops manager or anyone else has to go off sick, then I can jump in. But if I'm needed, then who's going to jump for me when I've got a problem? So I'm not part of the operational day-to-day. It'll run without me. But on the other hand, is to say, where do I spend my time? Well, I spend my time on developing the business, pushing it forward. Now, it will naturally grow, but I will look at new areas we can look at. So what does that mean? Well, if I just do 2 kind of ideas, in our UK arbitrage business, one thing we're doing right now is called a strategic profit improvement plan. So we had a meeting of all the kind of like senior team members in our team, like the best sources, purchasing managers, and my ops manager. And we basically just went through, we brainstormed ideas about how we can improve the margin. So not driving revenue, but margin. And we've gone away and we've documented that. And now we're going to come back tomorrow and have that meeting about it all and start looking for like, here are 5 things we can do to really improve the margin in the business, because, it makes a big difference. So that's one area that I'm working on. That's about strategic improvement. And then the other area that I'm working on right now in my business is, I talked about it earlier, wholesale. So what we did is we strategically moved one of our purchasing assistants out to said, hey, we want to pull you out of the business. We want to put you into a new business we're creating called the wholesale side. And we've had meetings discussing about, I've given them training courses. Like I ran them through Amazon Lit's training course and said, go learn about the wholesale model. Let's sit down, let's brainstorm the process. So we've got a flow diagram, wrote out the process map, and then really just said, how would we do this with a team of VAs? And then now that VA is basically going away and just starting to test the whole process map we've done for doing wholesale with VAs, and they'll get to place their first order this week or next week. We've got the product, we've already found it, we know what we're doing, the supplier, that's fine. And we're just going to test that whole process all the way through. So we're looking for problems, and what we're not doing is running really fast now. We're going very, very slow, looking for issues, trying to work out the kinks so that when we're ready, we understand the whole process, we understand how we're going to track it, what we're doing. And then what we do is then we hire a team, and that purchasing assistant, who will now be the purchasing manager of that business, they will just know, okay, so we need to hire like 2 VAs, they're going to do this job. They slot in, cool, we already know the metrics, then we need to measure them by, done, and then we can ramp that up. But before we ramp it up, we do a very small, just like a couple of products in wholesale, and just so we understand the process and make sure it works. So long story short, pretty much everything's outsourced, but I'm still very much involved in strategic development of growing, because that's where I want to go. But I hope that makes sense. Harminder, let me know if that makes sense down below. Nathan Hudson, I've been offered a government startup loan at 25k, 6% interest. Do you think I should apply for that and get myself a couple of EAs set up? Nathan, I'm not a financial advisor. Also, as well, I do aware that while I do take Amazon loans and I do have debt, also I'm very aware that debt is a double-edged sword. It is a very powerful tool, but also if in the wrong hands, it can be a very dangerous tool. At the end of the day, loans, all these kind of things, they're called leverage. So they will amplify whatever you're already doing. So if you've got a business right now that is profitable, is running, and you take loan, well, you could probably, with the right management, you could probably amplify that, i.e. make more profit, and it works. But if you've got a business right now where maybe you're not running you don't fully understand the accounts. A lot of Amazon sellers don't really actually know what their profits are. They're like, yeah, the revenue looks good, and I think I'm making this amount of profit. And the question I would ask you is, if you have to answer that question with I think, not no, I know exactly down to the pound or penny how much profit I made last month, then I would say I wouldn't advise taking loans. Why? Because if you can't guarantee you're making profit right now, all you can do is leverage or amplify a business. And if that business isn't profitable, and trust me, many people have very, very good graphs, but unfortunately they don't actually make money, and it's very common. And I'm a factor of that. My first year in business, I lost money in Amazon. I will not deny that. And we did six figures, and I lost money. And if you put a loan into that, you are just going to be scaling a problem. So you're going to make a bigger loss. So long story short, I think for you is be very, what would I do if I was in your situation? I'd make sure that I fully understand my numbers. I fully understand the business. I think if I was going to accept the loan, I would probably think about how am I going to invest it? What am I going to do? And just be very strategic. And if you're like comfortable with it and like, yeah, I think we can do it. I'm happy with my business. I'm happy where I'm going. Then cool. Definitely. And I think the next question I'd ask is 25k, it's a lot of money. Can I spend it myself? If I can't, okay, what do I need? And you can obviously look at like deal services, VAs, fantastic. Obviously go down that route, but just work the problem very, very methodically. Be very, what you want to try and do. And the thing which I really recommend for you is whether it's 25k or 125k or half a million, you just want to build yourself a framework that gives you the ability to say, we're about to get this. Can I do it? Let's tick the boxes, make sure we're happy. And because this won't be the first time you get loans, and every time you go back through the next time you get loan, you want to go back through that framework and just tick it off and go, yes, I know my profit. Cool. Okay, if I get a loan, here's what I'm going to need to do. I'm going to need to hire we have loans for like $250,000. And when we have $250,000, it's like, okay, well, we're going to need to hire VAs. How many VAs am I going to need? I need like 5. Okay, can I handle 5? Do I have enough time? There's a lot of other questions. So just building a framework really helps you understand that. I should probably do I should do a thing on that. There's a recent video I did on loans that kind of talks about the 4 things we had to look at in regards to taking a loan. So I would recommend checking it out on Fast Track FBA. It's the most recent one. But if you are comfortable, definitely I think VAs are a really good way forward. And obviously I'm a big advocate with them. So I'm not saying you should, it's up to you. There's loads of ways to do the business. But I hope that answers your question, Nathan. We've got about 7 minutes. I'm going to go through, so we'll kind of jump through. Phil Lightyears, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. James Martin, do you challenge IP complaints or leave them? Oh my God, do not leave them ever. Oh my God, I know it was being shared recently. Like a couple of months ago, there was a whole big thing about, no, you should leave them. Like at the end of the day, I promise you, one day your account is going to be under suspension. And you're going to ask why, and they'll be like, you've had too many IP complaints, and you'd be like, yeah, but I left them. You'd be like, you wish you would have dealt with them. Like, my thing is, I will fight everything tooth and nail. And if there is a black mark on my account, i.e. IP complaint, I am fighting it. Like, I do not care, even if like Amazon secretly say they don't do it. I don't think Amazon are like that. I don't think they secretly hide stuff. I think they want to show you the real metrics. They want to know what you're doing because they want you to be a good seller. If they have a secret scorecard that they don't tell you about, it's not conducive towards building a great business because they're secretly tracking something that they're not telling you about, and then obviously you can't influence it. At the end of the day, Amazon just want you to be a good seller. Why? Because it's going to help them make money and help their customers. And I generally believe they will use things like IP complaints to show you, don't do this, it's going to affect your account health. So we challenge it all the time. Right now, we probably get 2 IP complaints a week, and we have 0 IP complaints on our account. We fight everything. So fight it. That's my personal opinion. Rizzo. Hi, Thomas. Which model are you focusing on in the UK market for 2022? Well, by revenue OA, we'll probably do like 3.6. That's the goal. Wholesale would like to do 1 million. RA, we don't do. I live in Mexico. And P&L, no, not at all. No plan to do that anytime soon. I don't have domain knowledge in it. So, great question, but that's it. Let's carry on. 5 minutes, guys. What is the highest ranking item you do consider to trade in? I don't know, 500,000? The one that makes money. If it makes money, great, I'll do it. My God, I have bought stuff which is like quarter of them, 250,000. You're going to make a nice like 30 pounds profit. I could just buy one, ship it, no problem. Why wouldn't you do that? Second, ignore. Someone's calling me. Next one. Do you ever enter the list with Amazon's also selling? Yes. Look at my keeper training. We do the expert keeper one, or maybe the advanced one. I talk about how to identify if Amazon's sharing the buy box. Very, very important. Do check that. But yeah, we do. We don't have too many, but we do it. Graham. Hi, Thomas. Thanks for all the helpful info. For a UK-based person who wants to sell on the USA rather than the UK site, is it okay to use a UK limited company rather than US LLC? Yes. Seth Baker does it. He is a UK limited company selling in the US. You can do it. The only one problem you might find is when you put your card details into the UK site, and if you're doing, they'll ask where's the card registered, and a lot of the time they won't accept it outside the US. So it does limit your options, hence why we went down the US LLC route. And the other reason why we went down the US LLC route is because, my God, I want a cashback credit card for the US because I want the points. My God, like I've been on first class flights for the points we're buying. I plan to do 1 million in the US, so I want those points. That'd be nice. So it's more cost. I won't lie. It's more cost I have to pay, but there's advantages and disadvantages. But you can do it with the UK company. It has been done. It's not the end of the world. Dan Smith, what is the highest ranking item you consider trading? I think I've answered that one already. Nathan Hudson, thank you for answering me. Give me a lot to think about. Really appreciate it. Glad. Hey, Nathan, really, really good. What's your question? Yeah, cool. Yeah, really, really good. No problem. Facebook user, apologies if this has been asked already, but just wondering, when hiring sourcing VAs, do you think it's best to hire one at a time through the academy? As ultimately, I want one of them to be a purchasing manager and not sure 2 sourcing VAs at the time would be beneficial for them as my time is divided by quality feedback. It's up to you. Look, at the fundamental level, I would really like, I think the bigger factor is your time to manage them. You say like you might not be able to give them beneficial feedback. Well, whether you're hiring 1, 2, 3 sourcing VAs, if you can't give them the quality of time they need to develop them, it doesn't matter because you're just going to have poor quality training from you in your business. So fundamentally what you want to do is you want to think about is, regardless of like where I want to be long term, what's your capacity to train, manage, and support virtual assistants within your business. So if you only have the capacity, i.e., like you only have 1 hour a day, which is the minimum we recommend for a VA. If you only have 1 hour a day, then only hire 1 VA. But if you have like 3 hours a day, then potentially you could hire 3 VAs because it's 1 hour per day per VA. Your capacity is a big one. And again, getting the foundation right, those first few months are the most important thing, because if you get them right, then they'll be really aligned and they'll help you out when you move into the purchasing manager role. But I hope that answers your question. Great question. Thank you. Harminder, you mentioned that you did 6 figures in your first year, but you lost money. What did you change to make your business profitable? Well, long story short, I talked about it in my first, what's the first box? We started doing wholesale and I was getting like 10% ROI initially. And then I didn't really understand that you don't really want to compete versus Amazon. And also as well, if you probably notice, I love VAs. I've always been a manager. So I manage people and I kind of get a bit lazy. So I didn't really want to do the work. So I hired VAs. And then I didn't even understand how much VA, if the VA was really making me money, because I didn't understand how much they need to bring in every week and how we track them all and everything. And there was lots and lots of questions. And then basically when I put my year-end accounts in, with my accountant, I was like, fuck, we're not making money. Sorry, language. We're not making money. And I think the real question just comes is like, it's very easy to grow the revenue, but actually not make the money. All you're doing is turning money. It wasn't much. We lost like $4,000, but it did have an impact, and it really made me look at what we're doing with VAs and the way we operate and how we run our business. So that's the reason why I'm saying, like, if you are going to get like credit cards, loans, and if you're not profitable, it's actually quite easy to lose money with VAs because you don't really understand the metrics. And also one of the reasons why I spend a lot of time with it. So it's, in this game, a lot of people have fancy graphs. Doesn't mean they're making money. That was me when I first started. But yeah, it does happen. but I think, just a very fundamental level is understanding, number one, getting your accounts right. Get your accounts every single month. We do it religiously now. We do it religiously, literally, we do a typical month. We'll do every month. The month will finish, and by the first Friday after the 15th of the month, my admin team will sit down with me and the purchasing manager and my ops manager, and we will go through a full balance sheet and a full P&L, and we will cross-check what Seller Toolkit says versus like the P&L, and we want to know, is the profit we're making, we think from Seller Toolkit, correct to what the accounts are saying? Is the stock balancing? All these kind of questions, because at the end of the day, like, orange lines are easy, profit is the hard part. So the revenue is easy, it's about converting that revenue into profit. That's the hard part. So that's why we have these these review meetings. We need to stay on top of it, we need to learn, we need to reflect and get better. At the end of the day, fundamental thing, what we do, we started to understand the numbers and made sure we track them every single month and reacted to them. That was it. There's a lot more, but it's fun. Right, let's go on. What's your honest opinion about systemized fulfillment prep center? That's Kev Blackburn. My God, these guys are on fire. They're really, really good. Like, I've seen them. They have like cameras watching everything. I've been there twice now. Kev's a very genuine guy, very honest, and also very systematized. Like, he has systems. He has cameras, really good. I think value, like what you get from this prep center, they add so much more value over above and beyond what a normal prep center would. I don't think I could tell you anyone who would give you more extras than systematized fulfillment. I don't think there's anyone who does it as well as they do to that high standard. And what I'm not saying is that other prep centers are bad. No, not at all. They probably don't have as many bells and whistles, don't do it to the same standard. And I'm not saying that their standard is bad either. Like, it's absolutely fine. They do a very good job and sufficient what you need, but Kev just does it to like a whole another level. So really, really good. Dan Smith, thank you. Cool. Riza, have you ever worked with your VA on partnership based percentage of profits there? No, but we do give them bonuses based on profitability of the company. So that does happen. We do that in the VA Academy. We have bonus schemes, so they get a percentage of profits. Facebook user, that answered my question. 2 VAs at the same time. Hashtag excited. Final question for the day. Do you have any YouTube videos about how to do your balance sheet versus SDK, know your numbers? No, but it will be part of, it's a very complex thing. And my God, I never want to teach that through a video because I get too many questions. But we're going to do it through the VA Academy when we do admin VAs, which is still a bit of a way off, but we are getting there. We've really got a deadline. We've got a date for testing. But yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, 3 minutes past the hour. Sorry, I'm holding you up. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure. Obviously, well done for smashing your businesses. I should really change this bottom banner. It says Q4. But honestly, thanks a lot. Do come back next week if you've got questions. Ask me. I'm here to help. I use these sessions to give you the answers you want. A lot of my videos are kind of one way. This is about helping you. Again, I can just spend this hour talking about myself. I don't want to. I want to help you guys. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for bringing your questions. I'm also learning as well. And if there's anything else I can do, let me know. But hey, thumbs up. Stay safe. Have a great week. Keep smashing it, guys. Bye.